Thank you for joining me today. It's Brian Gubernick, and welcome to the No Days Off podcast, where we believe that every single day brings a new opportunity to get better. Here is something that I think I see in business, I see in entrepreneurship, I see it in my industry, I see all the time. It's this idea that the highest performers uh, treat their poor sleep, their bad sleep, their lack of sleep. They treat it like a badge of honor. They say things like, "I'll sleep when I'm dead," or "Sleep is the cousin of death," or "You know what? I'm good with only 5 hours," or whatever it may be. And I'm sure you've heard things like this. You probably have said things like this. I can tell you that I have absolutely been that guy. No question in my mind. Uh, Earlier in my career, probably not even that long ago still, I took great pride in my ability to get things done on lesser sleep than most. And it took me a while, I eventually wised up because here's the problem. The research is not on my side, or was not on my side with that mentality. The research shows that sleep deprivation just crushes your decision making ability and it kills your emotional regulation. And ultimately, it just jeopardizes all of your output. And I think I was probably lying to myself, acting like it wasn't impacting my decision making and my emotional state and my output. But in hindsight, it was, or it is, even still today when I don't sleep great. And when you start having bad sleep and you stack it one day after the other, it starts this cumulative effect. Every single night that you shortchange yourself in terms of sleep, you create or you build a deficit that you just can't shake off. Now, this episode today is about fixing your sleep schedule, but it's not about trying to slow you down. I think it's just trying to help you get a little bit more purposeful, maybe a bit sharper. Because fixing your sleep, I've learned, just my personal experience, it can actually be a competitive advantage. And I think so many of us are leaving our sleep, of course, unfixed and unmanaged. And again, if that's the case, and I'm trying to compete each and every day, well, that's one more opportunity that I can go after something, capitalize on something that somebody else is sleeping on. No pun intended. So here's a couple ideas, or let's go with 5 lessons that I want to talk to you about as it pertains to fixing your sleep schedule. Okay. Number one, anchor to your wake time, not your bedtime. See, most people, I think, try to fix their sleep by going to bed earlier. I'm off on my sleep, so I'm going to go to bed earlier. And it might have a slight impact, but it doesn't really work because you're wide awake staring at the ceiling as you're trying to go to bed earlier. And then you give up after a few nights. So you try to go to bed earlier, your body isn't winding down like that. And so you quit. Here's what the research actually points to. The research actually says that you should lock in your wake up time first. So start waking up at the exact same time every single day, including weekends. Your body's circadian rhythm is driven by the consistency on the wake up, on the front end, not on the back end. So when you hold that wake up time, your body's going to naturally start pulling you toward sleep at the right hour. I think for many of us, the opportunity is the weekends, having the same wake time on the weekends, and then your body's going to naturally make you go to bed earlier. This is the one variable that you can truly, I think, actually control. And then everything else builds on it. So lesson one, anchor your wake time, not your bedtime. Lesson two, light. Light is your reset button. What do I mean? You probably know that your internal clock runs on light. If you're not managing your light environment, you're not managing your sleep. So get outside within 30 minutes of waking up. See the sun, see the light. This tells your brain that it's daytime and it starts the timer. And then before bed, You got to do the opposite. Start to dim the lights, kill the phone and the screens and the TV, and let your body read the signal that it's time to wind down. I know for me, when I don't watch TV prior to bed and instead I read, especially with a slightly dimmer light, not so much that it hurts my eyes, but like to wind down, I actually fall asleep much, much easier. There's actually science behind that. Most broken sleep schedules are really broken light schedules. Think about how you're using light right now. Fix the light, and you've fixed probably half the problem. Number three, temperature. Temperature is your sleep trigger. What do I mean? Your body needs to drop its core temperature in order to initiate sleep. Usually it needs to drop 1 to 2 degrees. Most people have no idea that they're fighting this every single night because their bedroom is too warm. So if you are good doing this, because it obviously will increase the bill a little bit, drop the thermostat down. To I mean, ideally, what the science will say is 65 to 68 degrees. I'm not that crazy being in Arizona, knowing it's a little warmer out, but I do drop it down. And I actually, did buy one of those cooling mechanisms for my bed that brings my bed, the side of my bed, its temperature down, so I'm cooler at night. One thing I just learned makes total sense. I just never heard of anybody doing this. Is actually take a warm shower before bed, not because it feels good or you're cleaning up from the day. Take a warm shower because heat pulls blood flow to your skin. So the warm shower will pull blood flow to your skin, which actually releases core body heat faster. So you get out of the shower and your core temp drops quickly. That's the trigger. So temperature is your sleep trigger. Lesson 4, caffeine's half-life is longer than you think. Caffeine has a half-life of about 5 to 6 hours. So if you're having coffee at 2 p.m. or 3 p.m., it is still, call it 50% active in your system at 8 p.m. So anybody that says I sleep fine after an afternoon coffee or caffeine, the research just says otherwise. I don't know what to tell you. If you are falling asleep, great, but it's certainly suppressing your deep sleep even when you can fall asleep. So you're not resting as well or as hard as you think. So the lesson here, move your caffeine cutoff to earlier in the day. I'd say no later than noon. And try it out for a couple weeks. I think you're going to notice a difference in your sleep quality almost immediately. Now, sure, that might make it difficult for some people, lack of caffeine in the afternoon. And you're going to go through some moments that you got to work yourself through. But on the other side of that, it will pay dividends. And then lesson number 5, stop treating sleep debt like it's a weekend project. Stop treating sleep debt like it's a weekend project. Certainly guilty of this one. You cannot bank sleep. In other words, you can't recover from a week of 5-hour nights with a 10-hour Saturday or Sunday. That's just not how it works. I know the Whoop or whatever device you might be wearing might be showing you your sleep debt, and it kind of implies that you can make it up. It doesn't work like that. Sleep debt accumulates. And more importantly, so does the cognitive and the physical damage that comes with it. So the recovery isn't a weekend. It's more about consistency over time. It's that consistency, and that's kind of boring. Certainly not, exciting, but it's just the reality. And it works. And people who figure this out, who treat sleep like a performance tool, the performance tool that it is, well, they reap the benefits. They show up sharper, and again, they make better decisions, and they have stronger, more sustainable output. So here's your action item. All right. Pick one wake up time. Let's just pick one wake up time if that's not something you're already doing. And let's just stick to it. Set it for the next 7 days. No exceptions. So that means including the weekend. So if you're listening, you're like, I already have a wake up time. I get up at 6 a.m. every day. You do the same on Saturday and Sunday? So don't change your bedtime just yet. Don't overhaul the whole routine. just that anchor that is the wake time. Change that. That's where the reset starts. And I bet you it triggers other things. So there it is. 5 lessons I think that you could apply and fix your broken sleep schedule, starting with the wake time. That's all I have for you today, the No Days Off podcast. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, every single day brings a new opportunity to get better. So let's get after it.